This video is sponsored by PCBWay.
Check out the channel, just Cuz Robotics. That wheel is a little...
Hey there, this is Seth Schaefer from Team Just Cuz Robotics, and in today's video, I want to give a quick overview of how the year 2022 went for my business, myself, and my YouTube channel, and talk about what I have coming for 2023. 2022 was an absolutely massive game-changing year for me personally, and also for Just Cuz Robotics LLC. First off, Just Cuz Robotics, the business side of things as an LLC, was only founded in July of 2021. So this was the first calendar year that I even completed running a business. And I want to talk about how that's changed things for me personally, how that's changed things for the YouTube channel, and what that means going forward as far as what videos I'll be able to publish or planning to work on, what projects I'll be undertaking in 2023, and exactly what you should expect going forwards. Let's start things off with a bit of a retrospective though. First things first, let's talk about YouTube. In 2022, my goal was to surpass 5,000 subscribers, and I'm happy to say I absolutely destroyed that goal, passing it all the way back in October. As of January 1st of 2023, I've passed 5,300 subscribers and over 500,000 total views across my channel in its history, with 260,000 only being in 2022. Now, my channel was founded September 10th in 2019, so it has existed as of this recording for 1,224 days, and in less than 30% of that number of days, I was able to meet over half of the number of views that my channel has ever received. So that's great. Even though I didn't post nearly as many videos in 2022 as I did the year before, I was still able to get more views. So I'm happy about that personally. The most viewed video that was published in 2022 was my Tombstone vs. Captain Shredderator video, which now sits at 32,540 views, which is crazy. Most of the videos I post now get, less than 3,000 views, so getting more than 10 times that is just nuts. Comment below, what was your favorite video that I published in 2022? What's your favorite Just Cuz Robotics video of last year? I'd really be interested to see it. And of course, let me know what videos you'd like to see coming from me moving forward. Next, I want to talk about the business side of things. Now, I don't want you to get the wrong idea here. I did not start Just Cuz Robotics LLC because I am a money grubber who just wants to make profit. There are many businesses that I could probably have launched that would be much more financially viable than a combat robotics parts business. Everything I sell I have to expect to get destroyed, so I price things in reasonable fashion with the expectation that you have to buy more than one product. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not trying my best to make the products the best they can be and last as long as possible, but obviously in combat things break. So it's a very difficult balance to strike between products being affordable enough for somebody to actually purchase more than just what they need, and still actually perform well enough that they will be able to hold up to the strenuous loads in combat. So, if you look at my web traffic to justcuzrobotics.com this year, there's a pretty clear trend that shows why things were so different for me this year than the year before. And you can see the beginning of that picture just by looking at how many web page views I got. I had over 80,000 views to my website. Let that sink in, okay? Like, that's close to a quarter as many views as every video I've published has gotten on YouTube in a year. And that's going back to 2019 when I started first publishing videos. So having my website that's only existed since the middle of last year, or middle of 2021, get over 80,000 views in 2022 is nuts. And the main reason for that is very clearly these guys right here. This product changed a lot of things for myself and I think a lot of other bot builders in the Combat Robotics community. Dartbox gear motors were designed to be the first really powerful plug-and-play brushed motor option for combat robots. And I've now sold over 200 of them to date, which I think shows that it has been at least to some degree a success in that regard. I also had over 827% more views to my website than in 2021, though that's, again, not a super fair comparison due to the fact that my company only existed and website only existed for half of 2021. But I also had a revenue increase over 1,000% from 2021 to 2022, even though it existed for about twice as long. So you can see, obviously, some considerable gains there, primarily from releasing these. I also have, of course, created way more products, though, since 2021, and right now I have over 29, I think exactly 29 physical products with more currently in development. I've got at least 3 more that are likely to be launched in the next 3 months or so. All right, next up, I want to talk about what happened to making videos. You've probably noticed if you've been following my YouTube channel for the last year or so that the number of videos I've been producing has been dropping off a cliff in the last, few months. And that is primarily due to just not really having time to work on them. First off, building a new robot, this little guy SSP over here has been eating up a huge amount of my free time. I also still have a full-time job where I work as a mechanical engineer, though I did end up changing teams partway through the last year, towards the end of the year, which definitely also impacted the amount of free time I have. And I'm also just generally trying to spend more of my free time with friends and family rather than just obsessing over YouTube and my business. And with the business side of things, I put a bunch of development work into a product and then I release that product, and all I have to do then is pack up and ship the orders once every one of them sells, right? But with YouTube, every single video, I have to put in the work, and it can easily mean sitting in front of my computer for 8, 10, 12 hours of just editing, not even counting the time that I have to spend filming as I'm working on things. That adds time to the process, making sure I have the camera set up and the lighting and everything else during each step of the build process, which I wouldn't be doing otherwise. So, as you can imagine, it's a lot of work to produce these videos, and obviously, as a channel with just over 5,000 subscribers right now, every time I post a video, even a sponsored video with PCBWay, thanks PCBWay by the way, more about them later, I'm not making, hundreds of dollars a video. That just doesn't happen. I just want you to understand, as a viewer and as someone who's followed me through, this journey of creating my own company and business and everything that comes with it, that it's a lot of work, right? And why am I doing it in the first place? Well, I want to make it possible for new builders to have the easiest time possible starting out in Sport of Combat Robotics. I want to get the Sport of Combat Robotics in front of more new eyeballs in the first place, and I want to make it so that when you're looking for the answer to an esoteric question like, how do I wire up my robot? What speed controller do I need to use? What battery works best with this combination of parts? How do I make a reliable drivetrain for my robot? That you can increasingly find that answer not just by having to look up a YouTube video and watch a 25-minute deep dive onto an engineering topic, but you might even be able to go to my website and, you know, hit buy now and actually have something that works. Because, I mean, getting over that hurdle for a first-time builder is one of the biggest hurdles to getting started in this sport in the first place. I know, as a mechanical engineer myself, I wish that it were true that every single person was highly motivated to build their own robot from scratch and do all of the hours and hours of research that it takes to learn how to make every purchasing decision for every single part. But I also know that it can be very expensive when you're first starting out and you mismatch your motor and speed controller and it blows up the speed controller, blows up the motor, and now all of a sudden you're out all of this money and all of this time, and it starts to become really disheartening. So making it available to people to get products that just work and trying to do my best to disseminate the information needed for them to figure out will it work for them or not is what I've chosen to try and take on as my mantle for trying to get more people involved in the sport. And to that effect, I actually have a huge announcement that's going to be coming on January 28th, the day of the Norwalk Havoc competition where SSP will be competing, that I think you'll all be very excited to see. But I don't want to spoil anything now. I'll get to that when I get to it. I haven't even begun to make that video yet, so let's just move on. Okay. Let's talk about what's going to be happening with the YouTube channel and everything else going forward into 2023. Well, first off, like I said, my first video that I'll be publishing after this one is going to be a big reveal that's going to be published on January 28th. So make sure to like and subscribe so you can click the bell so you get notified when that comes out, blah, 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 YouTuber crap. Next, my focus for 2023 is really going to be more on quality over quantity. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to promise you that I release a video on a set schedule every 2 weeks. What instead I'm going to do is try and do a bunch of bigger project-based videos that I feel are worthy of spending a huge amount of time dedicating to making one really high quality video that might be, 15, 20, 30 minutes long, rather than trying to release a bunch of short, crappy videos, or at least, really short bite-sized videos to fill up one video every week or anything like that. I will probably be releasing a few shorter bite-sized videos that are like either unlisted or public, but are like, how to solder this component onto the new motherboard product that I'm going to be launching soon or something like that. But don't expect any regularity for those, and don't expect those to be my only content going forward either. I've got at least one huge project that I've worked on for, the better part of a year now that I still am not close to completely finishing, but I think could mean, some really awesome content going forward. I've also got the, recap videos for every competition that I go to. So I'm going to do a video recap of how Norwalk Havoc goes with SSP and every other competition that I bring any of my robots to, as usual. Don't expect those to be going away. I also am going to be doing a video series on the Bambu Labs X1 Carbon. I posted on my channel community page a week or two ago asking if I should get one and which one, and everybody universally was like, spend all of the money on the Bambu Labs X1 Carbon with the AMS. So I'm going to be releasing at least 2 videos reviewing that, talking about how it works for me personally as somebody running a 3D printing service, and also how I think it could work for bot builders in general. I also want to make a big video, or potentially even a series of videos, talking about materials and manufacturing for combat robotics and hobby projects in general, because while I've hoped to tackle this topic in the past, it's extremely difficult to actually talk about materials without talking about manufacturing, because it's easy to say, oh, titanium's the best, but it's also super expensive, and making a 3D CNC machine part with it is ungodly expensive, whereas getting it laser cut or water jet might be relatively cheap compared to a 3D CNC'd aluminum part, right? So, 3D printing with ABS, pretty cheap. CNC machining with ABS, pretty expensive. Is it worth the expense? It depends on your application. So there's going to be a lot of facets to that topic, and it's probably going to be more than just one video, but I haven't begun to plan out exactly how that's going to be structured yet. I also would love to put together a video talking about matching speed controllers to motors and using actual examples and trying to get data, you know, measuring like the RPM of a motor with a bunch of different speed controllers or even different settings on the same speed controller over time, getting some pretty graphs, that sort of thing. I'm really interested in trying to do some sort of like series of analyzing the performance of, you know, X motor with an array of speed controllers or X speed controller with an array of motors, that sort of thing. I don't know if I'll be able to find all the time to do that, but I'm hoping it's the sort of thing where it's like once I spend all of the time developing a test rig for it, then each individual video that comes out of it is a lot less effort and time to produce, and it's a bit more formulaic, but could still be useful for somebody who's like, you know, Googling, you know, what motor should I use with my BL 35 amp speed controller? And then they've got this array of options with different potential use cases, and here's the performance graph for it, you know, that sort of thing. Let me know if you're interested in seeing that type of video. I might even reach out on my channel community page being like, hey, if you have a bunch of speed controllers or a bunch of motors you want to send me to test, then feel free to shoot me an email or something. So keep an eye out for that in the next few months. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all of the major things I wanted to cover for coming up in 2023. Yeah, just to summarize, no, I won't stop making videos. Yes, I'm going to keep doing event recap videos. Yes, I'm going to keep competing in more events if possible. A lot of my time that used to be going into videos is going into product development instead, so that I can release more awesome products. Expect to see more product-based videos, but they won't replace my main content. And expect sparser, longer, more well-produced videos going forward. I think that pretty much covers it. Alright, I can't really do a year in review video without having it be sponsored by PCBWay, now can I? Thank you very much to PCBWay for being a longtime channel sponsor and for helping sponsor this video. Now, PCBWay has helped me out in a number of ways this past year, and they are definitely going to be helping out again in 2023. In fact, I have one video planned coming up soon, which involves them making one of these for me. Now, this exact chassis was machined for me by a different service, but I have two different ones in different materials on the way from PCBWay right now. This chassis is a machined billet UHMW part that is currently inside of this guy right here, SSP. I also have a machined aluminum billet chassis in my other hand here, and this one was actually made by PCBWay, and this one is inside of my other robot division over here. So you can get some amazing parts fabricated by PCBWay. They not only have CNC machining service, but also a 3D printing service for industrial 3D printing, and they have a PCB fabrication service, obviously, which is what they are most known for. So next time that you need a part made for a combat robot that can't be made out of a 2D flat metal part, you should definitely check out PCBWay for their CNC machining. They have a huge variety of different materials, including all kinds of plastics, all kinds of metals. They can even 3D print in crazy metals if you have a ridiculous amount of money you want to burn, and they can do 3D printing in all of the usual plastics as well. And of course, they have a fantastic 24-hour turnaround for simple PCB designs if you need to get a PCB fabricated. So check them out at the link below, and you can get $5 off your first order with the affiliate link in the description. Make sure to comment below what things you'd like to see coming from Just Cuz Robotics going forward, and that's pretty much all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching. Click like if you liked this, subscribe and click the bell icon if you want to see all the upcoming content that I talked about. And as always, thanks for watching.